Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Volvo XC60, we're going to be showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver. Before we do that though, let's just take a minute. We'll check this one out and make sure it's going to be the right setup for you. Putting a hitch on your Volvo makes a lot of sense. You know, people use these cars to do a lot of different things. If you're trying to use an accessory, like a bike rack for example, or pull a trailer around, or even a little bit of both, this hitch is going to get the job done. And out of all the hitches available, I'd say this is probably the best general purpose all-around hitch. It has some capacities that are a little bit higher than some of the others. You know, I feel like it's a good happy medium on how it actually looks on the back of the vehicle. You know, you really can just see the receiver tube opening there. And, you know, like I said, good general purpose hitch. Now, with that said, if you're looking for something a little more heavy duty, maybe you plan on towing a lot or really heavy stuff, Draw Type makes one similar to this that has some higher capacities. On the other hand, if you're looking for something that looks a little bit better appearance-wise, there's several hitches, Stealth being one of them, that actually have detachable receiver tubes. So when you're not using it, you can take this part off and you won't see anything back here at all. We do get a lot of people wondering if putting a hitch back here is going to affect the hands-free liftgate assist feature. And the answer is no. You know, whenever you kick your foot underneath of the vehicle, it'll still pick up that motion and open up the rear hatch. The hitch is going to have a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. It's a really common size, so a lot of different things will work with it. It's going to use a standard 5/8 pin and clip. One doesn't come with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. Get it here at eTrailer. A lot of times too, if you end up buying a new accessory, it'll come with one. Safety chain openings are a little unique. You know, they drop down, and the openings are large enough to allow you to use just about any size hook that your trailer might have on it. As far as the weight capacities, what the hitch is going to be able to handle, it's going to have a 400-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating, which is the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. That's good for those 1 to 3, maybe even 4 bike racks, just depending on how heavy everything is. And for the maximum gross trailer weight rating, that's going to be 4,000 pounds. It's the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. That will be the weight of your trailer, plus anything that you might have in or on it. I do always like to recommend, always a good idea just to grab your Volvo's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your SUV can handle that amount of weight safely. We'll grab a couple measurements now, and these will help you figure out what type of accessories will work best. So if you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, taking into account the ramps that we're parked on right now, that'll be about 14 inches. So pretty good ground clearance for those of you using an accessory. If you have a straight shank, that's fine. If you have one with a rise in it, even better. Buy you some more ground clearance back here. For those of you pulling a trailer, you could probably use a ball mount that has a straight shank or a slight rise, maybe an inch or two. Probably work well in most situations. And then if you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 3 inches, which is really good, so you shouldn't run into too many issues here, but if need be, you can use that to help figure out exactly if any of those folding type accessories that you might have can be stored upright without hitting the back of your Volvo. Other than that, you know, like I said, a good all-around hitch. It'll work with a lot of different accessories and allow you to get the job done. And looks pretty good on the back of the Volvo too. As far as the installation goes, believe it or not, these Volvos are not bad to work on. You do have to remove the fascia, but don't let that scare you. Everything comes apart pretty easily, and it really isn't too bad. With that said though, if you don't have the time or place to work on it, you know, you can't always use our dealer locator network, and that can help you find a shop in your neighborhood that can do something like this for you. But if not, and you're going to do it yourself, hang around, we'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our Volvo, and you can open up your rear hatch. First thing we need to do is remove these little bump stops here. So there's one on each side, and from this point on, whatever we do to one side of our vehicle, we'll also do to the other side, set up the same way. But with these, a lot of times you just grab them by hand, rotate them about a quarter turn, and pop them right out. Moving underneath the vehicle on each side, we're going to have 2 fasteners, and these are going to have a T25 torque spit head. can move to your wheel well liners now, and on the back edge there's going to be 6 T25 torque spit screws. We'll get these all pulled out. Once you get that last one out, you can take your wheel well liner, kind of peel that out of the way, and that'll expose another T25 fastener right there. I did use some painter's tape along where we're going to be working. That way, you just don't accidentally scratch anything up. But you can start in the corner here, and if you kind of grab this inside part of the fascia, start to separate it, pop it off like that, and these Volvos come apart pretty easy. So once I get to about here, I'll get to that same point on the other side. Definitely helps at this point if you can have someone give you a hand with this part, but we'll kind of support the bottom. Just pop that fascia straight off. Probably have some electrical connectors. It looks like we have one on each side. They'll be the same. So what you want to do with these, you push down on the center of that tab, pull the two apart. Help out Brad here getting this one off, and once we're unplugged, we can set our fascia off to the side. We can get our bumper beam removed now. You might have 3 fasteners, you might have 4. In our case, we have 3, 2 up top, 1 on the bottom. And can use a deep well 15 millimeter socket. I have the other ones on the other side off ready, so I'm going to support this bumper with my hand here. Get this last one removed. And we can remove the beam from the back of our vehicle. The hitch is going to go on the back of our vehicle over the factory studs, and then the bumper beam will go on top of that, and you can use the factory nuts to secure it down. Now, in some cases, there will be a threaded weld nut here like we have, and if your vehicle allows you to get access to that, once the bumper beam and everything is back on, then you can use the provided hardware that they give you to secure that down. If your vehicle is set up like ours, and from my experience, the vast majority of these Volvos, once you get the bumper beam back on, the beam will cover this opening. You don't need to worry about it. But if you can get to it, awesome. Take the bolt and a conical tooth washer, make sure that the teeth on the washer will face this way towards the hitch, and secure that down. It is recommended if you take some silicone and just put a little bead around this area here, help keep it all sealed up. Silicone doesn't come with the hitch. If you need some, you can always get it right here at eTrailer. So we can grab our hitch and slide that on the back of our car here. We'll hold that in place. That way we can get our bumper beam. Place that on. We'll just take our hardware and get them started hand tight. You can make sure that the hitch and everything is centered. So I usually just eyeball it and then come back and take a measurement just to be on the safe side. I'll pick a point that's the same on each side. So in this case, I use this little drop down here. Did one of these deals, push up to the hitch, 1.5 inches, check the other side, is 1.5 inches. So we know where we need to be. And once we're happy with that, come back and snug all the bolts down. You want to make sure and come back with a torque wrench now, completely tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in your instructions. We are going to need to trim our fascia. So there's a diagram in the instructions that you can follow. Just this little area here. Some of these, from my experience, already have cutouts in the bottom of the fascia. So if yours does, you probably don't need to do this, but ours doesn't, so I drew that out. I'm just going to use a multi-tool to cut this. You can also use a pair of snips or a sharp utility knife. Just be careful regardless. With our fascia trimmed, we can reinstall it the opposite way that we removed it. Don't forget to plug your electrical connectors back in. This should all go back together the same exact way. Everything went back together well, didn't run into any issues or nothing along those lines. And so with everything wrapped up, that'll do it for our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2021 Volvo XC60.